Hi and welcome to Annie Plot Recaps. Today we'll be recapping an wholesome anime titled Remake Our Life. Do remember to subscribe and hit that like button. The main protagonist of our anime is Kyouya, who is a game lover. To achieve his dream of making games, he even gave up his job to join a company. However, the company went out of business within a few years. After that, it took Kyouya a long time to find a new job. He took the job as his whole and put all of his energy into the project. Unfortunately, the project was ultimately rejected by the company, and he was also fired. Experiencing all of these, Kyouya is desperate for his life. But just then, he notices a new game that has gained great popularity just after it's released. The game invites a novelist, a singer, and an artist to work on it, all of whom are very popular and share the same age as Kyouya. Additionally, the three all graduated from the Osaka University of Arts and are referred to as the Platinum Generation. Their experience reminds Kyouya of his decision 10 years ago when he had the chance to attend art college but chose a university better for employment, which makes him feel regretful until now. Kyouya starts to think that if he made a firm goal from the beginning and entered the arts college to learn how to make games, he might have become a successful person with them. Soon, Kyouya falls asleep in his fantasy, and when he wakes up, he finds an acceptance letter from the art college on his desk. And all the things in the room show that he has travelled to 10 years ago. Kyouya is thrilled that his dream has come true, and is determined to use this opportunity to change his life. He rents a room in a house near the arts college, and busily cleans it up all day with anticipation for the future. He goes to bed early, and when Kyouya wakes up again, a cute girl in pajamas lies next to him. He panics and doesn't know what happened at all. At this time, the girl opens her eyes. She tries to get up and introduce herself, but accidentally slips and falls on Kyouya. The sound of the girl falling catches the attention of two other tenants in the house, and they mistake Kyouya for a pervert. After Kyouya and the girl's explanation, they figure out what happened. The girl's name is Aki, a tenant who moved in just last night. Aki is an unsuspecting girl. She stayed in Kyouya's room for a night yesterday as she hadn't received her quilt yet. After clarifying the misunderstanding, the two other tenants also introduce themselves. They are Nanako, an outgoing girl, and Tsuruyuki, who is good at writing. Coincidentally, they are all students in the same major at the Osaka University of Arts. And since it's the first day of school, after getting to know each other, they rush to school. There they encounter their head teacher, Misaki. She initiates the introduction by informing the students that this is a major for game making. Each student can choose a different role in making games depending on their preferences during their learning, including writing game scripts, drawing illustrations, and so on. The game production industry is filled with fierce competition, with only a few graduates continuing this job after leaving school. Consequently, they must find the job they are best at during their studies, so that they can pursue alternate careers like painters and photographers. The students feel pressure after listening to Misaki's words and put all of their energy into their studies. The first student to showcase her talent is named Eiko. She is proud and has little contact with other students. Kyouya recognizes Eiko as his former boss and friend, who has always recognized only capable people. He decides to find a chance to prove himself and become friends with her again. 2 weeks of school life soon pass, and most of the students become familiar with each other. Among Kyouya's classmates, the only one who is most compatible with him is Aki. They often participate in various activities together. One day, Aki falls asleep at a freshman event, and Kyouya gently carries her home. On their way, Aki wakes up and she feels warm on Kyouya's broad back. She realizes that Kyouya is a reliable person. When they return home, Aki goes back to her room, and Kyouya finds Aki leaving her bag in the living room. When he intends to put her bag in her room, he sees her drawing with a computer through a slightly open door. Through her artwork, Kyouya recognizes Aki as the painter of the Platinum Generation. Kyouya is both surprised and a little excited. This shows that he is now on the same starting line as Aki, and he absolutely has the chance of becoming as successful as the Platinum Generation. Coincidentally, Misaki gives the students a task, which is an opportunity for Kyouya to show his ability. The test requires students to work in groups of 4 to shoot a short film on the theme of time. Kyouya is determined to do a great job. He forms a team with his 3 roommates and with him in charge, they begin to plan the shooting of the short film. As Kyouya contemplates the theme of the short film, he takes on a part-time job at a convenience store to earn his tuition. Coincidentally, Nanako is employed there as well. As an outgoing girl, she frequently has unintentional physical interactions with Kyouya, causing him to feel bashful. After work, they always return home together by tram. As the station comes into view, Kyouya's mind drifts to a novel he read before he travels back in time, which is about a person's life depicted against the background of a station. Kyouya decides to imitate the novel. Later, he shares the idea with his partners, and both Aki and Nanako think it's a good idea. But Tsuruyuki keeps silent. He takes out a manuscript from his room and calls Kyouya outside the house alone. The manuscript is a novel he has been working on recently, and the content is exactly the same as Kyouya's vision. Tsuruyuki never tells anyone about his novel, and he hides the manuscript in a place where others can't find it, so he doesn't suspect Kyouya of plagiarizing his idea, but laments that it's a bizarre coincidence. Kyouya is stunned and realizes that Tsuruyuki is the author of the novel he read before traveling. But Kyouya doesn't have time to think about whether he's doing the right thing. The first thing he has to think about now is finishing the short film. Under Kyouya's guidance, the filming starts. However, apart from Kyouya, none of the team members has shooting experience, and they only rent a camera designed primarily for taking pictures, leading to a temporary standstill in their plans. Luckily, Kyouya devises a solution. Employing the stop-motion technique, he combines a large number of photographs into a short film, yielding excellent results. When all the groups show their short films publicly, the work of Kyouya's group is recognized by everyone and is voted the best short film. Kyouya, as the group leader, receives praise from his classmates. They begin to worship Kyouya, and Nanako starts to have affection for Kyouya, asking him to karaoke alone. Kyouya recognizes Nanako from her singing as a member of the Platinum Generation, so he suggests Nanako record her singing and post it online. However, Nanako refuses since she always feels that she has no ear for music and lacks confidence. She then follows the topic and asks Kyouya to come here with her often to practice singing, and Kyouya agrees. But he doesn't know Nanako's true purpose, which is to create a chance to get along with him. Usually, when Nanako approaches Kyouya, Aki is also present. One day, the three are taken to a club by an enthusiastic senior and participate in a club activity together. Nanako leaves in a hurry after the event because she has to work part-time at a convenience store, leaving Kyouya and Aki alone. Aki takes the opportunity to tell Kyouya that she has noticed Kyouya was watching her drawing before, which is actually a secret for Aki, since she has always felt that she draws not well enough to tell others. And recently she has even had the idea of giving up painting. Kyouya has always held a strong admiration for Aki's artwork before travelling. Enthusiastically, he expresses how flawless her work is and encourages her to continue painting. Aki is taken aback, as it's the first time that her work has been recognised, and as a result she excitedly embraces Kyouya. From then on, Aki has had a crush on Kyouya. In addition to Aki, Eiko has also a crush on Kyouya. Misaki is Eiko's older sister, and she finds Eiko shy every time she mentions Kyouya, thus knowing her thought. To match Eiko and Kyouya, she arranges them to lead their teams to shoot together in the next mission. They choose to shoot at the beach, and all of them wear swimsuits. Looking at the cute girls, Kyouya loses his mind. Everyone else is also nervous, leading to some awkward misunderstanding during the filming. Eiko is so shy that she can't seize the chance to get close to Kyouya, even until the end. Luckily, they successfully finish shooting the short film, which was once again voted the best short film. Subsequently, they decide to come to karaoke to celebrate. With Kyouya's encouragement, Nanako gathers the courage to perform in front of others for the first time. Her beautiful singing gains praise from nearly everyone present, except for Eiko, who accuses Nanako of wasting her high musical talent in this major. She thinks Nanako should have pursued a musical education. Nanako defends herself, asserting that her singing isn't excellent enough. Eiko, however, contends that Nanako is simply avoiding the competition with students from the music department. While Nanako acknowledges the truth in Eiko's words, she is reluctant to concede and hastily runs out of the karaoke. In order to settle this dispute, Kyouya talks with Eiko alone. He learns that the reason why Eiko is so angry is that she's jealous that Nanako has talents that ordinary people don't have, but chooses to waste them. Kyouya couldn't find a reason to refute Eiko, and doesn't know what to do. When he returns to school, a senior named Keiko finds him. Keiko, a member of the gaming club, hears that Kyouya has created 2 excellent short films and asks him to work on a new game. Kyouya doesn't say yes right away, because he still has some concerns about making games before his journey back in time. Kyouya's major dilemma in game making was he couldn't afford to hire skilled singers to make music for his games. At that time, he often had to assist terrible singers in getting the right pitch. Now, as a student, he is even more financially constrained. Suddenly, Kyouya thinks of Nanako, who will become a singer in the future. Without hesitation, he rushes to Nanako's room and extends an invitation to collaborate on the game project. Despite Kyouya's persistent attempts to persuade her, Nanako remains hiding in her room, unwilling to come out. She is both throwing tantrums and not having confidence in herself. Kyouya comes up with an idea. After he adjusts her singing in the mix, he plays it to Nanako outside the door. Impressed by her own voice, Nanako realizes that as long as she can improve her level, she definitely has the potential to become a singer. Kyouya takes the opportunity to invite her to the game again. This time, Nanako immediately agrees. Since then, Nanako has been practicing singing in various ways, often asking seniors in the music department to guide her, while Kyouya is busy with another matter. He is arranged by his club to organize a school festival. When the festival is coming to an end, he meets Aki and hangs out with her. After walking for a while, Kyouya faints in exhaustion, and when he wakes up, he is lying on Aki's lap. Kyouya attempts to get up, but Aki intervenes. She seizes this chance to have some alone time with him. Gazing into Kyouya's eyes, she's overcome by the impulse to kiss his lips. Just as their lips are about to meet, Kyouya's phone interrupts the moment. The call brings news that the scheduled singer for the closing performance of the celebration is unable to attend. Unfortunately, the celebration is coming to an end soon, leaving Kyouya with little time to invite a replacement singer. It occurs to Kyouya that this accident might be an opportunity to help Nanako gain singing experience. He immediately finds Nanako and persuades her to perform on stage. Nanako isn't sure about singing in front of so many people. Kyouya patiently encourages her, and finally she agrees. To Nanako's surprise, the performance has an excellent effect. The audience likes her singing and cheers for her wildly. Nanako gains confidence in her performance, and as soon as she gets off the stage, she excitedly looks for Kyouya everywhere to express her gratitude. Meanwhile, Kyouya is taking Aki, who is somewhat dizzy, to a rest nearby. This time, Aki seizes the opportunity and decisively kisses Kyouya. She mischievously says she just kissed him by accident. Kyouya instantly blushes and doesn't know how to respond. They don't notice that Nanako is standing not far away and sees the kiss. She looks completely heartbroken. In the following days, Kyouya notices that Nanako behaves strangely, especially when she's with Naki. But he doesn't have time to think about it, because he's promised Keiko to make the game into a better game. He gathers the 3 partners who live in a house with him to join him. They all think that making games can earn money and agree. After discussion, they come to a consensus on creating a love game. Tsurayuki will write the game's script, Keiko will handle the illustrations, and Nanako will be tasked with composing the background music. As the project lead, Kyouya has to join in all aspects of the game and become the busiest person on the team. In addition to Kyouya, none of the members have experience in game creation. During the process, they encounter various challenges, yet Kyouya offers solutions to them each time. At this time, something happens that puzzles Kyouya. Nanako never learns to arrange, which leads to slow progress. One day, she suddenly hugs Kyouya, saying she is so tired and wants to relieve her exhaustion. Thinking of Nanako's previous unusual performance, Kyouya feels that something is wrong. While he is thinking about Nanako's thoughts, Aki pesters him. She's curious about some of the special plots in the love game and asks Kyouya to try them with her. Embarrassed, Kyouya forgets to think about Nanako's thoughts. Kyouya isn't the only one disturbed by close interactions with the opposite sex. During these days, Tsurayuki's fiancée persistently approaches him. Both she and Tsurayuki's father hope Tsurayuki to return to his hometown and take over the family business. To achieve the goal, she uses various methods to allure Tsurayuki. Thankfully, Tsurayuki is determined enough that he rejects her several times, asserting that his aspiration is to become a novelist. Eventually, with Kyouya's intervention, Tsurayuki's fiancée is persuaded to leave. Tsurayuki encounters more than one one problem. The plots of the game are very different from the style of the novel. During the process of creating, Tsuruyuki often thinks that the plots designed by Kyouya are too vulgar. Every time they argue, it always ends in a compromise for Tsuruyuki, who knows that only he can earn money by making games according to Kyouya's ideas. The same problem also arises in the process of arranging and producing illustrations. Nanako and Aki know that Kyouya has so much to worry about, so they've been changing their style to fit the game, to lighten Kyouya's burden. Finally, after a long period of hard work by the whole team, they finally finish the game and get paid. Kyouya is very excited, as he finally realizes his dream of making his own game. Unfortunately, things aren't going as smoothly as he envisioned. Just as the game is completed, Tsuruyuki meets Kyouya alone and reveals his intention to drop out. He expresses that he has always been confident in his writing talent and believed he could write novels for a living without his family's support. However, during the game making process, he came to realize that he leaned heavily on Kyouya to solve the challenges. He acknowledges his prior arrogance in inspiring to write novels for a living. Now, he has recognized the reality and decided to return to his hometown to take over the family business. In the end, Tsuruyuki speaks with heartfelt emotion about his passion for novels and tells Kyouya his pseudonym. After saying all of these, Tsuruyuki leaves, leaving Kyouya standing in a daze. Kyouya knows from the pseudonym that Tsuruyuki is one of the platinum generation. He then falls to his knees sadly, believing that it is his appearance that caused Tsuruyuki to give up on his dream. At this time, Keiko suddenly appears in front of Kyouya. She smiles weirdly and then asks him, what will the future be like if it goes on like this? Before Tsuruyuki can react, he loses consciousness. When he opens his eyes, he sees a little girl calling him dad. Immediately after, Aki appears, calling him her honey. Kyouya quickly turns on his phone, and the time on the phone shows that he has arrived 10 years later. He understands that Keiko must have done something to do with his traveling. After a few days of acclimatization, Kyouya gets used to the new life. He now works for a well-known game company and oversees an entire division. Compared to his last life, Kyouya has a happy family and an enviable job. He lives an ideal life, but his friends don't. For example, Eiko and Kyouya work at the same company now, but Eiko holds a significantly lower position compared to their last encounter. Lately, Eiko has faced a challenge. The renowned artist Ayaka, as well as her collaborator, is delaying the submission of her work, causing them unable to proceed with the game that Eiko is in charge of. Kyouya attempts to help Eiko by arranging a visit to Ayaka, but unfortunately, Ayaka remains unmotivated, ultimately leading to Kyouya's inability to assist Eiko in resolving this situation. Before he leaves Ayaka's house, he finds a painting drawn by Aki. Ayaka notices that Kyouya is interested in the painting, and she laments that she was once moved by the painting to become an artist. But unfortunately, the author of this painting gave up painting many years ago. Ayaka's words hit Kyouya hard. He suspects that Aki has the same reason as Tsuruyuki for giving up painting, which is because of him. When Kyouya returns to the company, he hurriedly searches the internet for news about Nanako and Tsuruyuki, wanting to know whether they have given up on their dreams completely, just like Aki. Finally, he discovers that Nanako was an internet singer 10 years ago, but has already announced that she would no longer sing, and Tsuruyuki did not become a novelist. Filled with remorse, Kyouya believes he has ruined his companions' lives. Upon returning home, Aki observes his abnormality. After hearing his confession, she reassures him that she never regrets about her choices. As Aki has married her beloved Kyouya and become a proud mother of a lovely daughter, her life is now brimming with happiness. Her words help Kyouya realize that dwelling on the past regrets is a waste of time. Determined to make the most of his present life, he resolves to seize every opportunity to rectify his past mistakes. Kyouya quickly finds an opportunity. Recently, a game designed by Eiko has had many problems. The boss repeatedly urges the employees to work overtime to catch up with the schedule. Eiko's subordinates do not rest for a long period of time, and they become increasingly ineffective at work. To make matters worse, Ayaka still hasn't handed over her work. Kyouya argues with the boss for Eiko. Eventually, he persuades this boss to give his employees a break and then visits Ayaka alone. This time, he brings a painting drawn by Aki. Ayaka is thrilled. She is moved by Aki's painting, which inspires her to create again. Soon after, Ayaka successfully hands over her work, and the game Eiko is responsible for can be carried on. Just then, Kyouya learns that Eiko has suddenly left the company for the airport. Worrying that Eiko will leave suddenly like Tsuruyuki, he rushes to the airport to find Eiko. Fortunately, Eiko is just so tired that she wants to take a vacation out of town. Kyouya breathes a sigh of relief, but can't help but tell Eiko about his guilt for his companions. Upon hearing this, Eiko becomes very angry. She blames Kyouya for constantly feeling obligated to shoulder his friends' burdens and find solutions to their difficulties. She thinks Kyouya shouldn't be responsible for his friends' life choices. Personally, she wants to help Kyouya more than to be helped because she has a crush on him. As she inadvertently confesses her feelings, Eiko instantly pretends to say nothing and hurriedly leaves to catch the flight. After that, Kyouya is lost in thought. What Eiko said makes him understand that he shouldn't interfere in his friends' lives at will. At this moment, Keiko seems to read his mind and appears in front of him again. She gives Kyouya a chance to go back in time and then asks for his answers. Kyouya answers with a determination that he wants to return to the time when he lived with his companions and make amends for his mistakes. Before this, he decides to say goodbye to Aki first. When Kyouya returns home, he finds that Aki has unexpectedly painted a new work. She says that she played a game made by Eiko and was attracted by the illustrations in the game, so she came up with the idea of drawing again. This new work comforts Kyouya a little. At least in this world, Aki has not completely given up painting. After that, he hugs Aki and their daughter tightly, and then goes out to find Keiko. With Keiko's help, Kyouya travels back to the time since Tsurayuki left. He no longer meddles in the lives of his companions. Even though Nanako asks him to help solve the problem, he doesn't help her, knowing that Nanako is capable of handling it alone. He also tries to change his habits, turning to Eiko for help when faced with difficult problems. Additionally, Kyouya wants to rectify his past mistakes. Observing that Aki's enthusiasm for painting has been gradually fading, he introduces a new painting method to her, hoping she can regain her passion. Subsequently, Kyouya resolves to persuade Tsurayuki to return to campus. Here brings the end of Remake Our Life. You're welcome to share your opinions in the comment area. Well, that's all for today's video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Bye!